So I was all teed up to record something a lot more serious, but I just want to dash something off about the discourse that's discoursing at the moment, which would of course be the vibecession. And by that I mean the economy's doing great actually, but why is everybody so down? And I should say what kicked this off. It was Christopher Mims, the journalist at the Wall Street Journal, was talking about how I think it was a matcha latte is now $8 or something like that. And he was just sort of mentioning this offhand. You know, he said something else about how like his family doesn't take vacations anymore because the kids are expensive. And you know, I just replied. I was like, you know, I remember when an Americano was $2 and now it's $6. Of course, I'm in Canada. But I was reading something the other day. It was, I think he's an economist or a statistician or something, Elliot Morris, put out a post about this sort of vibecession. And he's like, look, like, you know, prices of like core things that people need for their lives are about 10% above trend, like prior to the pandemic. And he's like, people remember what stuff used to cost. And I'm like, yeah, but like, what about anything treat shaped? Like, what about anything remotely like fun and enjoyable? You know, like stuff that used to be too cheap to meter is now a freaking line item that you have to budget for. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, going to the pub for a burger and a couple beers like didn't cost $100 a head, like in, you know, January of 2020. Or like, you know, a burrito is $17. I remember the other day when I grabbed a breakfast sandwich and a coffee on the way to the train, it was like $18. And like, these things were supposed to be cheap. Like, that's the point. Somebody in the comments was like, you know, I take my family to the movies. That used to just be a thing we did. Now it's got to, you know, go on the budget. And I think like, yeah, like I would love to see the analysis of like, what is, you know, sure, you know, staples are up, you know, 10%, but like, what about treats, you know, like the things that make you enjoy your life? And I think the thing that really drove me to say something about this morning was not only are the treats like twice as much as they used to be, you know, 5-6 years ago, but you're also getting like NPS spam for every economic burp and fart you do. That's like, what was the experience of your experience? And it's like, well, you know, the experience sucked because it was freaking expensive. And the whole point of these things is they're supposed to be cheap. And then to add insult to injury, you got these influencers cruising around Dubai in Lamborghinis or whatever, while you're eyeballing the option in DoorDash to pay for your McDonald's in installments. I mean, it just makes you feel like a chump. Now, I know this is first world problems, but I think I'd really like to see some metrics on like just how much more expensive the treats have gotten in the last 5 or 6 years. Anyway, gonna finish my coffee.